Trump is releasing the files. We're actually getting somewhere, maybe, question mark, who knows? I have very little faith in government in general, but who knows? Also, there are apparently moves towards giving a presidential pardon to Ghislaine Maxwell, the partner in crime of Jeffrey Epstein, and in my opinion, that would be terrible. That's a horrible thing to hear. I do not like that even a little bit. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. I don't know what's true, what's not, what's theories, what isn't. We are going to do a deep dive because there is an insane amount of stuff. Listen, man, all I want is, I want every single rich person in Congress to come together. All right, they pull out a fucking penis guillotine. Hear me out. A penis guillotine. They read through the Epstein list, and whoever is named with evidence to have been caught with minors on Epstein's island, they immediately activate the penis guillotine. All right, they bring them up in front. They bring them up in front. They put the penis in the guillotine and they snip. All right, this is my opinion. Definitely clip this out of context because I do actually believe in this pedophiles penis guillotine for all of them. Now, anyway, it's important to note there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are probably going to be on this alleged list, even if they haven't necessarily been with minors. Anyone, like we saw the lists, we saw the JFK files, okay? We saw files that the actual CIA develops on people. Everyone's on these files. If you ever flew on his plane or shook his hand or shared drinks with him, you're probably in the files. But anyone that was actually caught with minors, penis guillotine. This is my opinion. Anyway, it's been quite a week for our boy, Mr. President Donald Trump, who I think is doing a pretty great job, all things considered, on everything that isn't Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this is a clip from the new South Park episode.
I'm not in the mood right now. Another random bitch commented on my Instagram that you're on the Epstein list.
The Epstein list? Are we still talking about that?
Well, are you on the list or not? It's weird that whenever it comes up, you just tell everyone to relax.
I'm not telling everyone to relax. Relax, guy.
Yeah, so listen, man, it's a little on the nose, but it's definitely accurate. For some reason, we're not getting any headway. All right, so Trump decided to post this, which I think this is one of the funniest fucking tweets of all time. So personally, there's two things that are going on right now in the government that are massive. One is the Epstein list and people that might or might not be involved. Trump is talking about it again today and talking about releasing it. And another thing that's going on is allegedly Obama knew about the fucking Russia hoax and pushed it himself to commit treason and steal the country. Trump called him out for treason and he posted this meme. Now, this is the funniest shit of all time for multiple reasons. One is obviously you have Trump and Vance chasing Obama in like a police chase, but the fact that he used the fucking JD Vance meme, like he used the JD Vance like edited head. This is the fun. I'm sorry. This is the funniest shit in the universe. This is literally the funniest thing of all time. So now, in my opinion, everyone caught in these giant crimes should all get penis guillotined. But listen, man, going after Obama is fucking awesome. So anyway. Anywho, this is what the Democratic Party released. No matter how much he tries to distract from it, Trump's connection to Jeffrey Epstein spans decades.
Video from 1992
shows videos from 1992.
Shows the president with Epstein at a Mar-a-Lago park.
All right, so this is Epstein and president in 1992. I don't actually care about what the Democrats have to say because, in my opinion, as guilty as Trump might or might not be in regards to the Epstein files, the Democrats are way guiltier. Way fucking guiltier. The only person who knowingly whistle blew on Epstein was Trump. Trump kicked Epstein out of his parties. He kicked him out of his house. All right, we know that for a fact. The Democrats had these files for 4 years and said nothing. All right, I don't trust these people even remotely a little bit. Not even one fucking drop. Do not care. All right, so whenever the Democrats decide to take a moment to fucking stand on the corpse of Donald Trump's Epstein file coverage and be like, don't let him distract from it. These guys are just as guilty, if not more guilty. I don't want to hear a fucking word, bro. Like, not even one. Trump haters, Trump is on the Epstein list. Trump supporters, okay, release it. Obama judge, no. Because this is literally getting blocked on both sides. This is getting blocked on both sides. You get them trying to push it, the Republicans block it. The Republicans push it, the Democrats block it. But I think that, in my opinion, you have guilty people literally everywhere. This is probably, likely, some sort of intelligence movement, either done by the CIA or Mossad or MI6 or all of them together. Who knows? And I think, in my opinion, that everyone's trying to find an excuse to A, blame the other party, and B, not release it. Yeah, we need to get some understanding here. All right, new images emerge of Epstein at Trump's wedding in 1993. Like, they knew each other pretty well. Like, this is crazy. Now, again, 1993 is over a decade before anything suspicious even came out about Epstein. However, this dude's the most notorious pedophile in the history of the world. So I think it's time to actually figure out what's actually going on and who was actually involved. Now, this tweet is fucking diabolical. The Atlantic makes a post. If the Epstein scandal teaches us anything, it's that Americans need a dedicated and decently funded group of people whose job is not just to ask questions, but to find answers. But the Atlantic is literally owned by Ghislaine Maxwell, allegedly. The woman on the right is Ghislaine Maxwell. She trafficked children for Jeffrey Epstein. The woman on the right owns your magazine. So the Atlantic is going to sit here and be like, we need people that aren't just asking questions, but also getting the answers. Meanwhile, the owner is literally besties with the fucking child trafficker professional speedrunner of all time. Like, bro, this is fucking crazy, bro. This is insane. These people are diabolical, every single one of them. Breaking news. According to multiple reports, Ghislaine Maxwell answered to every question in the DOJ meeting with Trump's former personal attorney, Todd Blanche. Not a Jewish lawyer. It's a bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. He's not using a Jewish lawyer. It's a bad day for the administration. Just watch. Trump will pardon her, and then she will publicly claim Trump barely knew Epstein, which is very likely. This is Brian Kresenstein, one of the most woke people of all time, and he follows me on Twitter, which is a giant red flag. All right, I do not endorse the people that follow me on Twitter. I don't know why you're here, bro. I don't know why you're here. Aren't you some sort of like big woke journalist guy? What are you doing here, bro? You're not invited to my parties, okay? Get away. Anyway, I wanted to do a bit of a deep dive onto what's going on. Apparently, the FBI is currently crashing out about what they found out. And I am very curious, very fucking curious about what's actually going on in regards to the Epstein shit. Because, as I've said from the very, very beginning, if there's evidence that Trump was fucking children, the Democrats would have used that. They tried to put him in jail for 700 years, and they didn't use that. So in my opinion, he is associated with Epstein, but I don't know how implicated he is. We gotta whip out the penis guillotines and get to the bottom of this. But apparently the files are coming out. So this is a clip from Dan Bongino, the current FBI dude.
The FBI Deputy Director Dan Boingo says, "I'll never be the same after learning what I learned." He made this post earlier, I guess, today. During my tenure here as Deputy Director of the FBI, I have repeatedly relayed to you that things are happening that might not be immediately visible, but they are happening. The Director and I, that's Kash Patel, are committed to stamping out public corruption and the political weaponization of both law enforcement and intelligence operations. It is a priority for us. But what I learned in the course of our properly predicated and necessary investigations into these aforementioned matters has shocked me down to my core. We cannot run a republic like this. I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned.
That is a crazy post. Now, before getting too deep into it, let me make this clear. In this post, he said nothing. I have seen the eye of God. I have seen the abyss, and the abyss has stared back. So much has been exposed to me. The world will not be the same after I reveal what I've seen. But he said nothing. Anyway, I'm hoping something comes from this, obviously. But listen, man, there is so much vague posting in the government. It is frustrating. So frustrating. I've seen the things. All right, well, I mean, listen, man. Obama committed treason. All right, so put him in jail. All right, put him in jail, bro. Like, let's do it.
The fuck? We are going to conduct these righteous and proper investigations by the book and in accordance with the law. We are going to get all the answers that we deserve. As with any investigation, I cannot predict where it will land, but I can promise you an honest and dignified report of the truth. Not my truth or your truth, but the truth. God.
I hope so.
God bless America and those who respectfully defend her. Yeah, sure. I'll believe it when I see it.
Thank you, Asmongold, for not capitulating to the vague posting of the government. I like Dan Bongino based on what I saw, I guess. But like, bro, what are we doing? Everyone's coming together to say these things, but I want to see something happen. I'll be real. I like what Trump's been doing with the country. I like that the border is enforced. I like that they're deporting illegal immigrants. I like that. I like a lot of these things. I like that we're being a lot more normal about transgender stuff. Like, let's be real. Shit was getting kind of crazy. Don't get me wrong. All this stuff is great. I think all this stuff is really, really good. I want to see one powerful person arrested. One. I want to see one actually powerful person going to jail. One. Until that happens, I am so disappointed. I want to see the swamp get drained by 1 milliliter, bro. okay? 1 ounce of drainage.
I feel like we've had statements like this being made over and over and over. I don't want to hear about how bad the thing is that you heard about behind closed doors you can't talk about. I want to hear about the thing that you heard about behind closed doors, and I want the people that are doing it to go to jail. Oh, and here's another one here, too. This is from Piers Morgan. Kevin Spacey.
Oh, great. Kevin Spacey. It's not a red flag. That's not a red flag.
I was very fortunate that President Clinton introduced me a lot of business leaders. I felt he put the president at risk on that trip to South Africa because there were these young girls. And we were like, who is this guy? So
whenever you say young girls, do you mean 18 or do you mean 13? Say the number. Because a young girl could be 20 years old. What were the numbers?
I will say this.
There were young girls on those flights.
There were young girls on those flights.
What does that mean?
And that's been out. They've talked about it. I never went to Jeffrey Epstein's island.
That's good.
I did not know him, and I never saw him or her after that morning at Buckingham Palace. He didn't even come to Buckingham Palace. And as I say, I'm not friends with him. I never saw him after that day.
He obviously doesn't want to talk about his lying so bad. Well, I don't know. Maybe he was on the island. Maybe he wasn't. But, you know, having girls that are young on an airplane, I think young needs to be...
I mean, to be fair, doesn't Kevin Spacey like boys? Like little boys? Wasn't that like his whole drama back in the day?
Quantified. What does young mean? It's annoying for me to see that word because it doesn't mean anything.
True.
What the fuck is that? And so, yeah, I see that happen, and it does annoy the shit out of me. But there it is.
I'm glad we're on the same fucking place. I'm glad we're on the same timeline here. I really am. Like, I am living in an area, in a time of my life, that I want to actually see consequences. If they're not putting people in jail or whipping out the penis guillotine, penatine, as we call it, I am just not going to be satisfied. I'm sorry. I just won't be satisfied unless there's actual fucking powerful people getting put away for this. Like, dude, no one is believing that Jeffrey Epstein was trafficking thousands of children to no one. No one is believing this. No one is believing this. Can we stop? So Coffeezilla made a couple of videos talking about specific areas. We're going to be looking into this right now. And I'll be real. We need justice, baby. I think that one of the best attributes of humanity is the craving need for justice. I believe we are made in the image of God, and God is just. Okay? And I want to see the penatine getting crazy.
Our president is far more implicated in the Epstein files than we previously thought. This is according to a Wall Street Journal article. The Justice Department...
This is according to Wall Street Journal article, who's totally never lied about anything before of all time. Dude, it's so frustrating. I feel like everyone is pointing fingers at everyone else. You're implicated. You're implicated. There are no files. There are files. I deleted the files. There were no files. Like, we're not getting anything. We're not getting anywhere.
Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files. A lot of people are going to tell you, oh, that's old news. We knew he was in the flight logs. We knew he was in these phone records. But that's not what we're talking about. Those were already public. Jeffrey's black book, that was already out there. This is a new review of documents that we're talking about. We're going to go through all of it.
What files? So release the files! Oh my God, I don't trust anyone that says, oh, you're in the files, but not actually release the files or mention anyone else that's in the files. To make this clear, if you knew someone was in the Epstein files for years, all right? If you knew someone was in the Epstein files for years and you just kind of let them wander around, pedophile wandering around, and you never wanted to call them out, then aren't you part of the problem? Like right now, oh, I remember, oh yeah, that guy is a pedophile. Like, what are we doing, guys? This is insane. This is like the whole Elon Musk thing. Elon Musk that said that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, right? Elon, you let Trump babysit your child. If you're really trying to imply that he's a pedophile, then why'd you let him hang around your kid? You know, like there are so many just obvious questions and like inconsistencies here.
And we're going to start with Trump actually being asked directly if he was told by his attorney general whether he was mentioned in the Epstein files. And he says, no.
Did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the files?
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing.
So there we have Trump denying being told that his name was in the Epstein files. But a lot of people were wondering, well, then why are you acting so weird with these files?
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Jeffrey Epstein? I totally forgot about that guy. What is he, a pedophile?
It's pretty
Did he kill himself?
boring stuff that were made up by Obama.
Obama made up the boring Jeffrey Epstein files. Nothing to see here. Moving on.
Luckily, we unearthed an interview where Trump actually hints to the fact that he was in fact told that he was in the Epstein files and that it was all fake stuff.
They've been running these files
And so much of the things that we found were fake with me.
Now,
that implies that there are files, that you were mentioned in the files, but you're claiming it's fake. That's not the same as saying that you were never in the files and the files don't exist.
that file review is going to be separate from what we talked about with the flight logs, the black book, things like that. According to the Wall Street Journal, when the Justice Department officials reviewed what Attorney General Pam Bondi called a truckload of documents related to Epstein earlier this year, they discovered that Donald Trump's name appeared multiple times, according to senior administration officials. So,
Discovered. Like they didn't know before who was mentioned in there. Like, come on, dude.
if you remember phase one, right? Phase one was a big scandal because Pam Bondi released these files, but it turned out that these files were an incomplete list of mostly already released stuff.
Yep.
So what did she actually release?
Great question.
She released the flight log and she released the contact book. Then what happened? Well, Pam Bondi, super embarrassed, reached out to Kash Patel and said, hey, I need a bunch of new files.
Yeah, give me the files. I just released a big binder of nothing.
This is not enough. Give us more. She went on Fox News, started talking about, oh, I've got this truckload of documents that is separate from the flight log, from the black book, that we're going to review and release to the American public.
Looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein files. You know, there were flight logs, there were names and victims' names, and we're going, where's the rest of the stuff?
Yeah.
So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived.
Will everything else be made public?
It's always about protecting the victim. But you know what? We believe in transparency, and America has the right to know.
So there we clearly...
Yeah, she needs to get fired, bro. They need to fire her. She's terrible. She's like terrible, bro. Like... Tulsi Gabbard did good with like the Obama Russian hoax thing, and they need to put him in jail for it. But like, what are we doing?
Really see there were two separate reviews that happened. First, there's the disclosure in phase one of kind of the stuff everyone knew. And then
phase one was nothing. It was a whole PR stunt that they were going through. But like, think about it. From Trump's perspective, why would they even do a PR stunt? Why would, according to Trump, think about it from this perspective. If Trump knows that he's implicated in the Epstein files, okay, why would he do this whole PR stunt? Hey guys, phase one, and there's nothing, right? Like, think about it, bro. Think about it. I have no idea.
And he goes, oh, we got a truckload of new documents. We're going to review those and release those. And that's the review that flagged a bunch of times that Donald Trump's name appeared in here. And that's when they changed their story. Why is this a big deal? Previously, the appearance in the flight logs and the black book were the only appearances we really had of the president. There was really nothing else related to Trump there. It's also notable because Senator Dick Durbin said that the FBI was explicitly instructed to flag Trump's name if it came up in the files.
Attorney General's pressure on FBI to quickly review and produce more Epstein documents as promised. These officials were told to, quote, flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned.
Right. They had a new review where thousands of FBI agents combed through these things, flagging the president's name anywhere it appeared in this truckload of new documents. And that is what we're talking about here. These are new revelations, new pieces of evidence about our president.
This is new. We're getting new shit for sure. Unbelievable, bro. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, what are these files? That's what we all want to know, right? Unfortunately, it's being heavily covered up and heavily blocked. Obviously, one answer is the Wall Street Journal's prior reporting on this letter that Trump supposedly, allegedly wrote to Epstein, which talks about a secret that they both share. It's worth noting that the president said he was going to and then did sue the Wall Street Journal over this.
Damn.
He's seeking $10 billion.
All right, listen, we'll see what happens. I'm very curious about this lawsuit because by the fact that there is a lawsuit going on, we're going to get answers. We are going to get answers. And honestly, that's what we need. That's what we fucking need. Some goddamn answers. And we're getting there. We're getting a little closer. Right? Either the letter exists or the letter doesn't exist. Obviously, it's my fucking tax dollars that are going to this retardation. But look, man, I think we'll get there eventually. I don't think they'll be able to hide this forever. It's gotten too big. Too many people are interested. And honestly, no one likes pedophiles. It doesn't even matter what side you're on. I've spoken to a lot of right-wing people, a lot of hardcore Trump supporters. Every single one of them wants to know if Trump is in the Epstein files with evidence that he slept with children. Everyone wants to know. Everyone says that if Trump is a pedophile, they should fucking put him in jail. Everyone says that, all right? This is not a controversial thing. This isn't a partisan thing. It's not a politics thing. It's a we want justice thing. It's a, we want to put pedophiles in wood chippers kind of thing. It's a, we don't want to just sit there paying tax dollars to pedophiles for the rest of the time kind of thing. Like we have probably during the last administration. I mean, we still don't know who ran the government during the last 4 years. And whoever it was probably in the Epstein files. Let's be real. Democrats didn't release shit. I think pedophiles are universally hated. No, that's not true. Hasan Piker, largest leftist Twitch streamer, has been known to support multiple pedophiles. Like entire organizations of pedophiles, he's defended them. It's a known fact. Like the Houthis, for example. They have 1.2 million women that are children that are married in Yemen right now. Female children married in Yemen, and he supports them. So listen, obviously not, some people do support pedophiles.
About this, but the most interesting thing about this case is that the Wall Street Journal, its original claim was that this birthday book letter was all in the DOJ's possession earlier, meaning it would have been part of this truckload of new evidence unless it was destroyed. And so one of the best ways to disprove or prove the existence of this thing would just be opening up the Epstein files, which is part of the reason it's so sketchy that they're not doing it. If you're saying that this reporting is false, if you're saying that this birthday book did not exist, then why not just release the files where this birthday letter was supposedly contained?
Yeah.
In fact, in this story, we actually have breaking news. Epstein's victim's lawyer now says that the estate of Epstein are actually in possession of this birthday book containing Trump's letter and would be willing to turn it over to authorities. So
dude, why do we not have more? Why do we not have more? Look, man, why don't we have... Okay, I'm sorry, bro. Why don't we fucking have the victims of the Epstein files actually being able to... Like, dude, there are victims. Why don't they say, yo, yeah, Bill Clinton had sex with me, bro. Like, why don't we have these people actually safe to come out with this information? Instead of just suspiciously dying off in weird accidents one by one. This is insane. I feel like there's no way this could possibly be covered up forever.
So we'll have to see where that goes.
Everything. Of that birthday book. The executors of this estate are in possession of that book.
So already, if true, not only is that a kill shot to this lawsuit, it also proves that there's new mentions of our president in the Epstein files, which are now being covered up. Another big part of this cover-up story in our government literally shutting down.
Yeah, fucking crazy. I saw that.
Early to avoid a vote on the release of the Epstein files. This is because there were a bunch of representatives ready to vote actually in a bipartisan way on the release of the Epstein files. And a lot of Republicans had splintered off from the party line of not releasing it, backing the president. Speaker Mike Johnson, because he was fearing this, announced he was cutting short the week's legislative business and sending the House home early for the summer to avoid having to hold votes on releasing the files. I can't think of something more.
This is crazy. It's like, it's damage control. It's like they know it's coming out. They're just trying to delay it little by little. Like, what are we doing, bro? What are we fucking doing? Oh my God. Yeah, I already covered the birthday letter. I don't think Trump wrote that letter. I saw it. I don't think so personally, but I guess time will tell. We'll see. We will see what happens. But this is crazy. I don't understand why we're even treating this as something normal. Like we have a government protecting pedophiles, okay? I don't care which government, right? Republicans, Democrats, the government. The government at some point over the last 10 years, we're fucking protecting pedophiles. How is this even remotely okay? Right, I am paying taxes to people protecting pedophiles. All right, I have to follow the law. All right, I have to follow the law, but you know, like I can't drive past a stop sign if my wheels don't come to a halt. But the government's fucking children. Like, what are we doing? Literally, what are we doing? Like, this is insane. How is there this untouchable class that is controlling everything behind the scenes? That is literally not what this is supposed to be. And I want to see it happen.
Sick, then stonewalling the release of files related to a trafficker to try to protect the people implicated in it. I can't think of something more disgusting, except for the hypocrisy that it also represents, because previously, the same guy went on Benny Johnson's show, a conservative commentator, and said he was totally open to releasing the files and would vote on it.
Subpoenaing the Epstein documents from the DOJ, whether you would support either of those.
I'm for transparency. We're intellectually consistent in this. Look, Reagan used to tell us we should trust the American people. I believe in that principle. I know President Trump does as well. And we should put everything out there and let the people decide it.
Agreed. We should trust the American people.
Agreed. Like, dude, do you understand how insane this is? Like, it's so fucking crazy. Every single person, we want complete transparency, release everything. And then behind the scenes, it's like, don't release anything. Like, what are we doing, bro? What are we fucking doing, man? Like, what are we doing?
People, until it's time to release it and actually vote on it, and then you shut everything down early to avoid it. Now, later, Mike Johnson came out and said he doesn't want to be lectured on transparency by the Democrats who didn't release the files when they were in power. And you see a similar line coming from the White House about this.
I think that's a valid point. However, it's not just the Democrats lecturing you, bro. It's everyone in society that doesn't want to pay taxes to pedophiles. It's everyone.
Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, which is an suggestion for any Democrat to make.
Now, to this, I just have to say, yeah, they're scoring political points now, saying release the files, just like you guys scored political points when you were the party that wasn't in power.
We need to release the Epstein list.
Yeah, right? You're scoring points with that for sure.
That is an important thing.
But the people who actually care about this issue, we just want the files out. So you know an easy way you can prevent having the other side score political points by saying, hey, release the files.
It's by releasing the fucking file.
You can actually do it. Instead,
what files? The files killed themselves. There are no files.
We have a bunch of performative stuff like this.
Everyone, our motion was filed to release the files. It was canceled by the Democrats. The Democrats are now trying to vote. It was canceled by the Republicans. This is fucking crazy.
This from AG Pam Bondi and the president.
What are we doing?
Right after the reporting on the birthday letter about Trump and Epstein's supposed secret, all of a sudden,
y'all still talking about those files? Y'all still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Like a snap, Pam Bondi comes out and goes, oh, we gotta unseal the grand jury transcripts, despite knowing that there's almost zero chance of that happening. And of course, today we find out that it was denied because they had literally no grounds to do it. It's like not something courts do.
Yeah, but who cares? Who cares if it's not something courts do? Why are we protecting pedophiles, bro?
For a public interest. In fact, the irony of that whole stunt to pretend to be transparent was that the Epstein survivors, which supposedly these people care about so much, were not told, they were not informed that this grand jury information was going to be unsealed.
Yeah, that's really bad. We can't release things. We can't release things because, obviously the victims. But also, let's unseal the files. Let's unseal the court documents. In my opinion, it was a stunt. It was definitely, I don't like Pam Bondi, bro. I think that was definitely a stunt. We're moving to release the fucking transcripts and that obviously fails. Because there's so much private info that'll come out. Like, come on, dude. Holy shit. Nah, it's crazy. I want these people to go to jail, bro. I really do.
So, ironically, despite saying that they want to protect the survivors of Epstein, what they really want to protect are the third parties implicated in all of this, which is why they won't release the Epstein files they could release right now, which is all in their possession, these thousands of documents that they have. In fact, the attempts to—
Yeah, I don't know why that's not out. I literally don't know why that's not out. And for those of you that are asking why I'm like making videos on this now, not while Biden was in office, the answer is simple. I had no faith in Biden. None. I have faith in Trump. I have faith that in the Trump administration that we will get some sort of transparency. We will see rich people going to jail. I do. And maybe I'm coping, but I really want that to happen. And until it happens, I'm going to still yell and scream that we're protecting pedophiles in the country. And I think that's unacceptable. It's fucking unacceptable. Come on, guys.
To distract from the real issue of the Epstein files not being released, the cover-up that's clearly happening, it's actually been breathtaking. In fact, it compelled Trump to release 230,000 pages of documents on MLK's assassination.
They're like, what are we doing, guys? No one involved with MLK's assassination is still alive. None of them. Oh.
Which I guess is fine, but like, can you release the conspiracy now? Why are all the conspiracies revealed decades later when we can't hold anyone accountable? True. But at the time the conspiracies may be happening, all of a sudden it's, oh, well, no, we can't possibly do that.
Well, in my opinion, it's because there's some sort of fucking CIA operation going on. I mean, come on, dude. This is crazy.
Now, there's another performative thing you should be aware of, and that's the meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell that's supposedly happened in the Department of Justice.
Yeah, we're going to cover this.
Now says they're going to actually talk to Ghislaine directly. Quote, I have communicated with the counsel for Ms. Maxwell to determine whether she would be willing to speak with prosecutors from the department. This is confirmed by Maxwell's attorney, who says, I can confirm we are in discussions with the government and that Ghislaine will always testify truthfully. We are grateful to President Trump for his commitment to uncovering the truth in this case. Why is this?
What truth? I thought there were no files, bro.
Deeply concerning, because the idea had been floated that there would be a public testimony to Congress. Oath.
I think that would be so much better than a private testimony to a lawyer.
By Maxwell. But this is not that. This is a private meeting with the same people who have been sweeping this issue under the rug the entire time. And what is Ghislaine really focusing on? What is she actually trying to get? She's trying to get immunity. We already know she's
well,
trying
obviously, Ghislaine, look, she worked with the biggest pedophile of all time. Obviously, what Ghislaine wants is a pardon. Obviously, she wants a presidential pardon. And I really hope that Trump doesn't give her one. But, like, realistically, listen, man, obviously, it's all a deal. Like, if she gets some sort of plea where they let her out in exchange for exposing, like, 100 fucking rich pedophiles, I'm not exactly gonna cry. But I don't like the idea of pardons in general. I think the whole concept of presidential pardons is scummy and goes against the system. I don't think that she should ever get a pardon. She worked with the biggest pedophile of all time. She should rot.
Get the president's attention and say,
yeah, we have to break out the clitoris guillotine.
Hey, you guys kind of screwed me. You wouldn't want to be seen as, you know, not being a man of your word. We've seen those like vaguely threatening public statements by Maxwell. So what exactly are they going to get out of this? She's totally in.
I mean, the obvious fear is like, hey, we'll pardon you if you just say that Trump was never involved. If there's something like that, it would be abominable. It would be like actual nail in the coffin.
Incentivized to clear everyone from this administration rather than get the truth out. Now, I should say we actually have inside information on this because recently a bunch of world leaders have been meeting with not journalists, but get this, podcasters to talk about the world affairs of the day.
Oh my god, dude, podcasters, bro. The whole podcasters interviewing world leaders shit is unreal.
Hey, podcaster Tim Dillon talks about his dinner with what turns out to later be J.D. Vance and some other people where they discussed the affairs of Epstein and stuff like that.
They discussed Epstein with podcasters? What are we doing, guys? It's like, you do realize the point. The point is having these discussions with the lowest common denominator of drivel, right? So that they could tell their audience, yeah, bro, this is all good. It's all good, dude.
And he floats the idea of Maxwell testifying.
Ghislaine must speak. She should testify before Congress.
Okay.
A couple of the people at the dinner, again, it was a small dinner, 3 or 4 people. They said that is not on the table at the moment, but it's not impossible. Nobody's super jazzed about it.
So the administration appears to have told Tim Dillon in a private meeting that, yeah, we really don't love the idea of her testifying. But apparently they love the idea of meeting her privately to talk to her behind closed doors where we can't know what is said. Speaking to the only person who's ever been punished at all for Epstein's crimes and whose only incentive is to herself get immunity and get off the hook for all of this. So I obviously think this is a terrible idea. I think it's more of the same cover up. Until they release these files, they're finished. And interestingly, Tim Dillon, the guy at this dinner with the administration, actually said as much.
I think if they do not release everything they have, they are done. If they do not release, and I told them that, you need to release everything you have.
Yeah. Of course. Doesn't take a political analyst to tell you you need to release
Bro,
the
I love how the podcasters are like actually more in line with actual public sentiment than, you know, the fucking government. It's like, yeah, bro, listen, man, no one likes this whole protecting pedophiles thing. Like, pedophiles are easily the most unlikable people out there. Like, I think that people hate pedophiles more than they even hate Jews these days, which is kind of crazy to think about. So I'll be real, what are we doing?
But of course, that seems to be the one thing they refuse to do. They'll do
reason.
anything. They'll release MLK files. They'll probably tell you their aliens exist just to avoid releasing the Epstein.
Dude, I could so fucking see that. Documents that prove aliens so that we stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
Files. And that is the actually most incriminating part of all of this. It has been the reaction, not the files themselves, that has made this look so bad. The unhinged response to just simple demands for following up on their word, saying they were going to release the Epstein files. Then it's, oh, we looked, we found President's name a bunch, and now we're not going to show you what.
It was only lizard people that were on that island.
What's in there? That makes us all assume the worst about what's actually in here. So ultimately, look, I just believe we should get transparency.
True.
Obviously, there's
Agreed.
a lot we don't know.
Look, I believe in innocent until proven guilty. So whenever I see someone say Trump is a pedophile or whatever, I personally don't agree with that sentiment because I don't think you could just call people pedophiles with no evidence. I think it's disgusting. I really do. However, I do want to see evidence. I want to see what we're actually talking about. I want to see these files. I want to see who is involved, who's implicated, and what they have on who. I think it's insane and insufferable that because everyone's so scared to just have their name mentioned in regards to these files, they're just hiding all this shit and, you know, protecting pedophiles on the way.
Here, But a lot that has also been coming out, and it all paints a much darker picture than we previously knew.
Yeah,
Our president...
fucking crazy. Now, apparently it got even worse. All right, apparently Bill Clinton admired Epstein's childlike curiosity. All right, this isn't just a Trump issue, even though he's the one in power right now. But I think other people are way more implicated than Trump. For example, Bill Clinton, there was a image, all right? There was a gigantic portrait of Bill Clinton wearing a dress in Jeffrey Epstein's living room. So while that creature is roaming the streets and I see people yelling about Trump, it just makes me think, I wonder if this is just trying to score political points or something. That's my opinion. If you are only targeting Trump and not someone like Bill Clinton, who there is so much more evidence tying them to each other, you're probably just doing this for the political points. And that's not what we're doing here, all right? We call retards retards. It's what we do on the channel.
Former president wrote Jeffrey Epstein a letter where he admired his childlike curiosity. This is according to the Wall Street Journal in another bombshell report where they further divulged the contributors to this birthday book, including Leon Black. This is a continuation of the reporting about Donald Trump, Lex Wexner, where reportedly a bunch of powerful people got together to send Jeffrey Epstein birthday letters, which were all compiled by Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, we covered this in a previous video, of course. Trump denied it. He said, that's not me, I don't draw pictures, and then sued the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion. Of course, he also sued Rupert Murdoch, who owns a bunch of news organizations, including Fox News, the New York Post, outlets you'd consider right-leaning. And today, the whole story about it all being a Democrat hoax falls apart because today the Wall Street Journal implicates Democrats, which is what we've been saying this entire time. When people ask, why didn't the previous administration release these files? There's a lot of possibilities, not the least of which is that they were also implicated. So
yeah, I think this is probably the big one. It's the fact that they were implicated. Obviously, that's why they buried it.
Here we have Bill Clinton's reported letter where he wrote to Jeffrey Epstein, it's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted as long across all the years of learning and knowing adventures and illegible, and also to have your childlike curiosity, the drive to make a difference, and the solace of friends. Now,
bro, you cannot say that the most infamous pedophile in history has childlike curiosity, bro. What are we doing?
We should say this is all before Jeffrey Epstein was arrested. So, of course, Clinton denies knowing anything about this. But I gotta say, of all the things to tell the future biggest in the world, hiring someone's childlike curiosity.
No, that's diabolical. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy, dude. Oh my God.
Is just unlucky, bro. That's right up there with Enigma's Never Age. May every day be another wonderful secret. It sounds coded.
I don't know. I think this was even worse. This is so much worse.
In hindsight. Now, we also have something from Leon Black. We know about him. He's the guy who did a non-prosecution settlement with the U.S. Virgin Islands. He reportedly paid Jeffrey Epstein over $100 million for what?
Dude, we need to be looking into these people more. Like, we need to. We need the fucking, YouTube. Can I tell you the dream? Here's the dream. The YouTuber predator hunters, right? You know the YouTuber, predator hunter guys? There's a couple of retards. They go out there, they make fake accounts, they catch pedophiles and shit. We need these guys to start going after politicians. We fucking do. I'm gonna message the predator hunter guy right now. I'm sorry. I'm doing it. I'm messaging him right now. This Alex Rosen, right? He's the #1 predator poacher hunter guy. All right, this guy. This fellow over here, he's probably the most famous pedophile hunter. I'm messaging him, but we're figuring this out immediately. All right, we have to. I'm sorry, man. All right, we tried, bro. We tried. I'm just saying, we're trying.
He described as...
Have you ever interacted with him? Yeah.
Tax advice and estate planning. Now, his letter to Jeffrey Epstein included blonde, red, or brunette spread out geographically with this net of fish. Jeff's now the old man in the sea. Signed, love and kisses, Leon. Now, both of these people declined to comment. They didn't deny writing the letter, which they would do, you think, if such a bombshell report was going to come out and they hadn't done it. This denial to comment on the story, I think, says quite a lot about the book's authenticity.
Yikes.
But we also have Jean-Luc Brunel, who reportedly trafficked a ton of women to Jeffrey Epstein. He also was on the book. We don't know what the letter said. Nathan Myhrvold, apparently another billionaire, wrote to Jeffrey Epstein, "They seemed more appropriate than anything I could put into words," and it was followed by photos of a monkey screaming, lions and zebras mating, and a zebra with its penis visible. Nathan in response said he doesn't recall the submission and regularly shares photos and writes of animal behavior. Yeah, guys, totally normal. Sending photos of animals mating to your friend for their birthday. Now, Peter Mandelson, he is actually an ambassador to the United States from the UK. He sent photos of a tropical island and referred to Epstein as, quote, "my best pal."
Bro, all these people, like literally, bro, all these fucking people, like we gotta do something here. Like this is crazy. This is insane, man. What are we doing, man? We're fucking sitting here paying taxes to pedophiles. Like this two-tier system is fucking diabolical, right? They're dividing us with like random bullshit, racism shit and woke garbage, and they're sitting there at the fucking top. They're fucking children. Like, what are we doing, guys? Like, this is insane. Yeah, he sent a picture of a tropical island to Epstein. Like, guys! Are they just all blackmailed and controlled by this shit? Like, again, I think this is a CIA operation, and that's why everyone's scared to talk about it. Or FBI, or whatever the fuck, Mossad, or MI6. Like, or, I don't know. It has to be something like that, man. It has to be. It has to be some sort of intelligence operation to control rich and powerful people. And whether you're implicated or not, if you're part of the government, you want to maintain that stranglehold. It's insane.
He declined to comment as well.
Yeah, no shit.
Tons of huge, powerful people, not just formerly powerful, currently powerful people getting implicated in this birthday book. And what it shows, on the one hand, there's no smoking.
Right, on the one hand, we absolutely need a penis guillotine. Like, we need to bring this into office. All right, I'm just saying. You have a guy, he walks out, you're like, you were on the Epstein files, and then, know what I'm saying?
Gun of like, it's not pictures of these people with Jeffrey Epstein and the ladies, but it also blows a hole in the whole tax advice argument. For a long time, people have been wondering, well, maybe Jeffrey Epstein was off on his own doing all this horrible stuff, and these people, they just were going to him for his great tax opinions, right?
Sure,
he was just accountant by day, file by night.
Right.
But these people's letters mostly are centered around sex, around women. So you have to ask yourself, why would you send what ostensibly was their accountant, just letters about ladies and women and stuff like that, unless that was also what you knew him for, what you knew he was engaged in, maybe you were engaged in together. So this paints a very dark picture because once again, this is before the arrest. And I think that's what makes it cut both ways. On the one hand, all these people are gonna say, look, we had no idea that he was involved in this stuff. On the other hand, the content of the letters.
Yeah, right. He's completely right. You can't deny this. Like, the content of the letters aren't just, thank you so much for your financial advice. This is really nice. But the letters are all pictures of tropical islands with childlike curiosity. We had so many secrets together. It's like, bro, dude, this is not an accountant. All right, listen, I have never sent pictures of fucking tropical islands to my accountant. I'll be real. I'll be honest, I've never done that.
In many cases, is pretty sketchy and also cuts across party lines. This birthday book has two presidents writing to Epstein on his 50th birthday.
Allegedly,
one former and one who would eventually become president. And together they said they admired his childlike curiosity and enigmas never age. Man, it sure is a mystery why they never wanted this to get out.
No fucking shit. This makes everyone look terrible. Again, it's not evidence that they're pedophiles, but listen, man, if they're best friends with the fucking pedophile king, obviously this is bad shit. Now, apparently, they're looking into maybe pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell.
Are we really about to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell?
Oh, God, please don't do this, please.
Story we're going to go over today. Look, we know.
Like, can you imagine if the only conclusion of this entire Epstein saga is no actual pedophiles go to jail, but they release the biggest pedophile child trafficker of all time? Could you imagine this? Could you imagine this? The conclusion of this saga is just releasing the pedophile queen? Like, what are we doing, guys?
That Bill Clinton knew Ghislaine Maxwell. We know Trump knew her as...
They pardoned the Gen 6 guys. You cannot even remotely compare this. Like, this is actual destiny brain rot when I see people bring up Jan 6 compared to Ghislaine Maxwell. Actual retard. Bro, most of those people were not remotely violent and did not deserve to be in prison for 3 years like they were. How could you possibly compare that to the pedophile queen? All right? Literally, actual low-tier brainlet take.
Well, we know he wished her well, but previously this was unthinkable as she is literally the only person, the only co-conspirator who's ever faced any consequences for the abuse that Epstein did. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison and was charged, among other things, for perjury, aka although she was never—
Great! We're gonna rely on her now. Yeah, let's get some actual admissions from her. Let's get some testimony from someone who's already been caught doing perjury twice.
Never ultimately tried for it because they went after the heavier counts.
Yeah, they didn't try her for perjury because they tried for you know, sex trafficking children.
However, Maxwell is appealing her conviction, and her lawyer has been pushing to get this in front of Donald Trump.
Oh my god, dude. This is gonna look so fucking bad, bro. Like, dude, if they pardon her and she goes up and is like, yes, and I can testify that Trump was not involved and that all these other people were involved, what are we fucking doing? Like, literally, what are we fucking doing?
This is a quote from her lawyer, quote, "I'd be surprised if President Trump knew his lawyers were asking the Supreme Court to let the government break a deal. He's the ultimate deal maker. I'm sure he'd agree that when the United States gives its word, it should keep it." Of course, referring to the non-prosecution agreement that Epstein had with prosecutors back in 2007. This all came to a head today when Trump was asked if he would consider pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, and he wouldn't rule it out.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if she's cooperating?
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
But you wouldn't rule it out.
So rather than just—
All right. I don't think that's as damning as people are making it sound. I'll be honest. He's leaving all the cards on the table. While the cards are on the table, Ghislaine Maxwell is probably clamoring to try and make a deal sweet enough to take. I don't think it's as bad as people are making it sound. He's keeping his cards on the table. I actually don't care. I think this is just how Trump makes deals. The way Trump makes deals is just— he sits there and says, I could do anything. I could attack Iran. I could attack, get involved with the Russia war. I could stop giving money to people. It's his actual strategy. He keeps his cards on the table and all the options open. So everyone is clamoring to get him to make the decision they want and offer him better deals. I don't think this is as damning as people are making it. However, while I do think that's the case based on Trump's past dealing and wheeling, this is the fucking pedophile queen we're talking about. Yikes.
Say no, he says, look, I'm actually allowed to do it. He won't rule it out.
True. He is allowed to do it. He is allowed. Listen, man, who knows how many millions of people were killed by Fauci and Biden pardoned that guy. Like, I don't know, man. Listen, I'll be real. I think the whole pardoning system is bullshit. I think the entire pardoning system is bullshit. I wouldn't even consider it, chat says. He didn't say he would consider it. He said he didn't think about it.
And of course, this friendliness wasn't just shown there. It's been shown for years. Trump famously said he wished her well.
Yeah, that looks fucking weird.
Referring to her trial that was upcoming.
I just wish her well, frankly. She's now in jail. Yeah, I wish her well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck. Let them prove somebody was guilty.
So, yeah, that's not great.
Yeah.
And then now—
no, that's not great. I mean, she is guilty. She's in jail.
Now, his deputy attorney general is meeting privately with Maxwell. Of course, everybody was okay with the idea of her testifying in public in front of Congress, but that's not exactly what happened. Instead, what Todd Blanche did was privately meet with her in a meeting that nobody was allowed to see. And he said in a statement, "Today I met with Ghislaine Maxwell and I'll continue my interview of her tomorrow. The Department of Justice will share additional information about what we learned at the appropriate time." Of course, that's brought to you by the same people who said they'd release additional credible evidence. So we don't exactly know what that means. And when Maxwell returned to prison, she returned with a white box of materials, which a lot of people, myself included, found very strange because she left with nothing. We also have to note that Todd Blanche was Trump's personal lawyer, so some people are calling it a conflict of interest. Even though he is no longer the personal lawyer, he is now the deputy attorney general. Now,
but it's obviously somebody that he trusts very well. He was his personal lawyer for years before he became the attorney general. Like, look, man, obviously they want something out of her, and they want something out of her behind the scenes that they could use. I don't know what it is, but ultimately I want to see pedophiles getting penis snipped. This is super suspicious.
Ghislaine's lawyer gave some statements on the matter. He claimed that she answered all questions truthfully during her DOJ
that means nothing.
Interview, and now says she is seeking a pardon, though.
Bro, they better not give her a pardon, bro. This is crazy. Oh, my Lord. Again, Ghislaine seeking a pardon. This means nothing, by the way. Like, to be clear, every criminal seeks a pardon. Johnny Somali is currently seeking a pardon in South Korea, okay? So, again, seeking a pardon means nothing. What means something is if she gets a pardon. And that's, like, indefensible. Indefensible. Unless 100 powerful pedophiles go to jail right after she gets a pardon, it's indefensible.
Says she hasn't approached Trump about it directly, but that they hope a pardon is in the works.
Yeah,
we haven't spoken to the president or anybody about.
Bro, they pardon her and then they just they dox her. They pardon her and then they dox her to like the internet, and she immediately gets mobbed by a bunch of people that don't like the idea that the pedophile queen is out there.
A pardon just yet, and listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way.
So they haven't approached him yet.
The right and just way. Everyone agrees that she's a pedophile human trafficker. Okay, everyone knows this. This is a fact, right? Like, I don't understand fair and just way. What is your understanding of fairness and justice?
But they hope he'll do it. Look, this is all laying the groundwork for a possible pardon for the only person who has ever been convicted, with many people pointing out this is a huge conflict of interest because, of course, the guy who controls the pardons also may be implicated in this.
That's crazy to think about. It really is.
And Maxwell stands to basically clear him of all wrongdoing for the right favor. Now, it's been reported just now from the New York Post that Ghislaine Maxwell gave the DOJ about 100 different people linked to Jeffrey Epstein.
All right, this is good, I guess, if something comes from it. All right, that's nice.
We don't know how much of that is true. Again, all these meetings are behind closed doors, which is what
it means nothing. It means fucking nothing until something happens. Every time I see like these headlines, it's like, we just got information. Great, that's helpful. No one's going to jail, so who cares?
People have such a problem with. Why not do this in public instead of these backroom deals? Because let's be clear, we all want more people tried. So the idea that the DOJ got info on 100 different people, it all sounds promising, but
that's great. But where are the people going to jail?
Is it enough to bring charges? Is it enough to actually implicate people? That is the real question behind all of this. Do we actually see real prosecutions from this, or is this more transparency theater and actually a cover-up? In fact, there are already rumors coming out from some sources at ABC News that Ghislaine Maxwell may have already been granted a limited form of immunity to testify in the first place, presumably.
I have no idea what that means.
Only for the new information that she's talking about, but still, it does seem like a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell is very much on the table, very much possible, and it's sick to imagine that the one person who's ever faced any consequences for the most notorious trafficker of all time might get away with it.
It is kind of crazy to think about that. Like, if she gets some sort of pardon and we don't get any, like, 100 pedophiles going to jail after that, that's just fucking abominable. Like, this is the only bad guy that's actually in prison. All right, anyway, the Epstein file list does exist. Trump admitted that it does exist, apparently. We are still diving deep. We're going to cover everything, man. We're going to cover fucking everything. Yeah, I wish that people were pushing the Biden administration this hard. I really do. It's like, it's kind of crazy. It's wild to live in a timeline where you have an administration that is publicly anti-swamp, anti-fucking crazy evil people in the government, anti these career politician, CIA deep state, right? That's what they ran on. Anti-swampers. And they're not brave enough to say, get out of my swamp.
Apparently there is an Epstein list and Trump is going to give it to us.
Right. You should focus on Clinton. You should focus on the president of Harvard, the former president of Harvard. You should focus on some of the hedge fund guys. I'll give you a list. These guys lived with Jeffrey Epstein.
Now, this is yet another change of the story. First, we heard that the...
Yeah. Are we still talking about it? There is no list. This is boring. We shouldn't talk about him. Anyway, let me give you a list of all the people that are...
The Epstein list was covered up.
So what are we saying here? Are we saying that you have names of people that are pedophiles? Like, is that what we're saying? If that's the case, why weren't we, like, looking into this before?
The Dems. Then we heard there is no list. Then we heard the list was made up by Democrats. Now we're hearing that there is a list.
He's not saying that there's a list, though. That's not what he said. Again, Coffeezilla is obviously, he's the journalist here. He's trying to investigate this. But that's not what he said. He did not say there is a list. He said, I could give you a list. Just people that he could think of off the top of his head that are actually associated with Epstein. More associated than myself. That's what he was trying to say. All right, he's not saying that the list exists, like there's some sort of hard list with all the fucking names of pedophiles on it.
Say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it.
We need to release the Epstein list.
It's sitting on my desk right now.
The DOJ and FBI have now concluded.
See, but from my perspective, when I look at these clips, hearing
that there is a list.
You say that the FBI has.
So this is before Cash Patel actually became part of the government.
Epstein's list, they're sitting on it.
We need to release the Epstein list.
This was before J.D. Vance became the vice president.
It's sitting on my desk right now.
This is after she was already part of the Department of Justice. And that's why I think she needs to get fired. She literally just lied to the people.
Caroline, the DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list.
No incriminating client list.
Made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. Focus on Clinton, the president of Harvard. I'll give you a list.
This all comes after shocking revelations about new implications of our most powerful leaders, both former and current presidents. But now, given the fact this story won't go away, Trump is zeroing in on his political enemies and saying they're the ones everyone should be focusing on.
They should focus on the fact that Larry Summers from Harvard, that Bill Clinton, who you know very well, and lots of other friends, really close friends of Jeffrey Summers, should be spoken about because, you know, Jeffrey Epstein should be spoken about, and they should speak about them because they don't talk about them, they talk about me. I have nothing to do with the guy.
Now,
it's kind of weird. He does seem a bit nervous when he talks about Epstein. He doesn't have that normal flair, that normal charisma.
The reason we haven't been speaking about these people is because, of course, the DOJ covered everything up, not giving any names, and of course, people were extremely suspicious of this sudden change. But we want to talk about everyone. Let's be clear.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. This has nothing to do with Trump, specifically. This has to do with every single pedophile that's in the government, and every pedophile that's not in the government, and all these powerful people that have been getting away with this shit for years. I want all of them fucking obliterated. Like, I do. That's my opinion. I don't know why we're defending pedophiles, unless there's some sort of crazy CIA operation.
No matter who they are, left or right, we want them all to go down. If they were on the island, if they are in the files, we want it all to come out. That's been everyone's stance from the beginning. And it seems like Trump is finally buckling on the idea that he can just ignore the problem, that he can just pretend it doesn't exist. And now it looks like he's shifting to deflecting to some of the other people who are also seemingly implicated.
Hedge fund guys, they're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Damn!
Now, if
28 times! Oh my god, I'm telling you, man! Bill Clinton's a freak, bro! Oh my god!
True, that's a shocking amount of time.
Oh, Lord!
We don't know if Trump has special briefings that we don't have access to right now. Previously, Clinton denied going to the island. There are some people who have said, oh, maybe he went once or twice, but 28 times, I've never heard that.
Dude, that's the premium pass, bro! That's crazy!
Number before. If true, I hope that comes out. I hope we get verification of that. Of course, it wasn't just on the island where these bad things happened. And the other surprising twist in this, where the narrative is sort of changing, is that Trump is softening his stance on this letter that he supposedly wrote. Initially, he said it doesn't exist.
Right, he said, I didn't write no women.
I never could have written it. Now he's saying, oh, it could exist, but if it does, someone else wrote it.
I don't know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier.
So, seemingly they're laying the groundwork for this birthday book to finally be released to the public as we've...
I mean, again, that's not necessarily a contradiction. Him saying he didn't write a letter, and him saying, I don't know if there is some sort of letter signed by what looks like me, but it's written by somebody else. That's the same answer. I don't think that that's going back and changing his answer.
All wanted. Trump is saying, look, maybe it does have my name on it, but I didn't personally write the note. Now, whether you believe that is totally up to you, but this is such
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't even know if this letter's real. If it is real, I have no idea who wrote it. I'd love to prove that shit. Absolutely. As far as we know, the letter's not public, by the way. To make it clear, the letter's not public.
Change in stance from how they've been treating the Epstein files. Previously, we were literally told, look, there's nothing we can charge third parties with. There's no...
This is a birthday card from 30 years ago.
Evidence we have on anyone. Now, the Trump administration is meeting privately with Ghislaine Maxwell. Supposedly, there's 100 new people she has mentioned, and Trump is mentioning evidence that he says they have.
Dude, I want to see... Look, everyone's fucking talking about evidence and shit. I want to see these guys going to jail. One! Give me one! Give me one. Until one powerful person goes to jail, I'm just not going to trust that you're actually making progress here, and that I'm going to believe that this is literally all fucking bullshit. Like, this is crazy.
Some knowledge he says he has of Clinton being on Jeffrey Epstein's island 28 times, which, if true, is like so incredibly damning. and these people should be locked up. The problem is, of course, it cuts both ways. If you're going to implicate one person, you have to go after everyone. Now, Trump was asked if he was ever briefed on his name being in the Epstein files. Of course, it was reported by the Wall Street Journal that he was told, and that's when he started acting very weird about the Epstein files, saying it was all a hoax. He once again denies it, though, saying he wasn't.
On your name appearing in the Epstein files ever?
No, I was never.
Now, we have really good reporting on the fact that this seems like a blatant lie. The White House barely even denied it, and the DOJ didn't deny it, so this seems to be just a blatant cover-up as Trump appears to be deflecting onto other people, which, again, we should focus on those people as well, but we can do both at the same time.
Agreed.
We should be talking about
all these guys should go to jail. Every single one of them.
All of these people. Now, in light of recent talks about Ghislaine Maxwell getting pardoned, stuff like that, Trump has now said it's not the time to talk about pardons yet. Although, once again, he doesn't rule it out. And then he says that if you're going to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell, if you're going to talk about Epstein, talk about Clinton, don't talk about Trump.
A lot of people are asking me about pardons. Obviously, this is no time to be talking about pardons. But a lot of people have asked about pardon. This is just not a time to be talking about pardons. Todd will come back with whatever he's got. You make it a very big thing over something that's not a big thing. You should be talking about, if you're going to talk about that, talk about Clinton, talk about the former president of Harvard, talk about all of his friends, talk about that.
It's not a big thing, but if it is a big thing, talk about those people. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Hedge fund guys that were with him all the time. Don't talk about Trump.
Well, how about we talk about all of you guys?
I agree.
Because while Trump tries to...
I agree. I think we need to figure out everyone that went to the island, what they did on the island, what happened by there, what evidence we actually have on every single fucking person, every single fucking person involved. We have to figure out how they were connected, and honestly, if they committed crimes there. Because not every friend of Epstein is obviously a pedophile, but, you know, some of them probably were. So let's figure that shit out immediately.
Separate himself and say, oh, you can't talk about me, you got to talk about all these other guys. It just seems like we should be talking about everyone who appears in the Epstein files. And now, as the White House softens its approach on the complete denial and shutting up of the Epstein files, now the goal is just to distance the president from any liability, which is why Ghislaine Maxwell's private meeting with him is so concerning. Today, the president was asked about whether he was part of the decision for the House Republicans not to release the Epstein files. He says this is just conspiracy theories.
Did you ask House Republican leaders to not vote on the resolution
No,
about
I was never involved in that. I'm focused on making deals. I'm not focused on conspiracy theories that you are.
Once again, this is kind of a funny idea, being that this
Conspiracy theories, right? Yeah, that's just conspiracy theories. Oh my god. Like, that's crazy, because, like, the whole base is, like, vindicated on conspiracy theories. Like, they just proved that the Russia conspiracy theory was a conspiracy theory. Like, how are people just gonna ignore this?
And the surrogates are part of the people who pushed this whole thing from the very beginning. So to call it a conspiracy theory now, to be making fun of people who are asking basic questions about that, is just bizarre and strange again. But I do think it's worth noting this radical shift in the approach of talking about the Epstein files. Remember, it was that it's a cover-up, then it was the list doesn't exist. Now they're saying the list does exist and they will produce it. So
well, they didn't make it so clear that the list exists, like there is a list. But at least now they're not saying it's a hoax, right? Because that was bullshit. Like, we all knew that was bullshit. I think that we've moved on from it's a hoax to there are parties that are actually involved. It's just not me, of course. Obviously, why would anyone implicate themselves? I don't know, man. I feel like we gotta get this shit to come out. There are too many inconsistencies, too many weirdisms, and too many powerful people that were really friends with history's biggest pedophile.
What names actually they're gonna produce? I think it's anyone's guess. I hope they produce all of them. I'm doubtful. I think there will be some omissions, but it's a credit to all the people who won't stop talking about this that at least there is a change in the approach, and it looks
I agree. Shout out to the people actually talking about this, bro. Shout out to everyone that's discussing this and not afraid to alienate their audience. Look, I'm no idiot. I know obviously most of my my community at this point is obviously pro-Trump, and I am making these videos which you could say are not pro-Trump at all, saying that Trump is sitting on the fucking protecting pedophiles. But I don't actually care. You realize I don't actually make content to appeal to people. I make content because all the retards need to be talked about. We got to air out the retards. Make retards again. I am actually pro-putting pedophiles in wood chippers, personally. That's my opinion. So anyway, I guess time will tell. We'll see what happens.
like they're gonna have to release some of the files.
Yeah, we got to, bro. We got to release the fucking files. We gotta get names. We gotta kick asses, and we gotta whip out the fucking penis guillotine. Definitely subscribe. I'm just gonna be real. Thanks so much for being here. This is insane. It's crazy. Again, I like most of the things Trump is doing. I don't like the fact that we are covering up the Epstein shit. I don't like that we're protecting pedophiles. I think it's indefensible, and these people need to face justice. We got to put them all away under the prisons, baby. Definitely subscribe for future retards. We're going to stay on this story, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one, baby. And honestly, I do believe we'll get justice. I do, whether we know it or not. I have faith that God is not going to let these pedophiles wander around forever. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'll be on top of it. See you in the next one. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.